My name's Dave DeBow, founder of MoneyPartnerFormula.com, and this show is built for everyday real estate investors who are actively doing deals and looking to scale using other people's money. So if you're an active real estate investor and you want to get featured on this show to talk about your own real estate and capital raising experiences, then just go to daveinterviewsyou.com. Now let's get rolling with this episode, and remember to subscribe for daily interview content. Well, hey everyone, welcome back. Dave DeBow here with a very, very special guest and a good friend, Mr. Gord Lemon, zooming in all the way from Nuevo Nayarit, which used to be called Nuevo Vallarta in Mexico. Gord is a very, very experienced real estate entrepreneur. You wouldn't know it for looking at him, but he's got over 30 years of experience in real estate. Pretty much you name it, Gord's done it. He's seen it. He's been around it. In Canada as well as in the States. And these days, he's doing something really, really interesting. He started a new company, well, relatively new company, called the REI Institute. And he's helping realtors and brokers to really dial things in and start working with investors instead of just mom and pop home buyers, to get them kind of focusing more on the investor side of things. And he does some very interesting things with training around this that helps them keep their credits up. So Gord, welcome to the show. Great to have you, my friend.
Pleasure to be here, Dave.
All right, Gord, can you give us a big picture, 30,000 foot perspective? What is the REI Institute? What do you guys do exactly?
Sure. The Real Estate Investment Institute was birthed basically out of my own personal frustration with real estate agents who, when I gave my particular criteria of what I was looking for,
as an investor yourself,
as an investor,
right?
yes,
You're trying to buy properties from these guys and gals. Yeah.
Right. So as an investor, and I would find them because I built different teams across the country and in both countries in a number of cities. And I found them online because they had listings of investment property.
Mm.
And so when I gave them a dissertation of what my criteria was, all I got was an email drip of properties that made no sense. And so I phoned them back up and I'm like, why did you send me these properties? They don't make any sense. And they're like, well, they're rental properties. And that was basically the degree of their thoughts and their education and their background on why they sent me these. So as a former teacher and trainer in teaching the public to be a real estate investor, I realized that not just myself, but all the other investor groups that train people, they all say, go out and find a real estate agent that can help you in your now new, direction of being a real estate investor.
Yeah.
And, if I surveyed every single one, they'd be pulling their hair out going, well, we've had the same frustration. So I thought there is a gap here in the knowledge of realtors. And so I repurposed everything that I had formerly in terms of curriculum and created this designation training on teaching the average realtor on how to become the best investment specialist. So we provide a designation called the Real Estate Investment Specialist, and that's the designation that they get when they graduate.
Very, very cool. So yeah, this came from a frustration, and I know, I mean, I've been involved in the real estate training biz for a while as well. And yeah, we tell everybody, hey, go out and find yourself a good investor friendly realtor, as if that's an easy thing to find. And maybe in some big markets there is, but it's in smaller markets, or those guys and gals get swamped and they can't really work with that many more people. And it can be very, very frustrating trying to bring up a realtor up to speed on what you're, educating them on the basics of real estate investing, especially for somebody who's a newer real estate investor themselves.
Exactly. And throughout this, I mean, the realtor should be the smartest guy in the room, right? Technically. So, but what this has also done, Dave, and I'll keep this short, is not only does it help realtors, be put into a room of investors and be able to actually help them and speak the language and be able to help them. But now it helps them in every conversation that they have, it helping their existing book of homeowner business, etc., understand how to go back and help everybody build wealth through real estate investing and
So,
by the numbers. And so we teach them how to present, how to prospect differently, and have different conversations, which
well,
naturally
even
happen.
even show them how to analyze a property to see
Yeah,
if it's really
we
a
go deep into analysis and
yeah.
understanding all the strategies, analysis, finding off-market opportunities, all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
So Gord, there are a ton of companies out there offering realtor training. I mean, a couple that come to my mind is like Iman, I think is one, and there's other things out there, tons of them. What kind of sets you guys apart from the rest of the pack?
Right. Well, from my knowledge, general realtor coaching is more about mindset and accountability and just making sure you get up every day and do this, 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 and this.
To find mom and pop home buyers and
And
sellers
yeah,
too, right?
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. What differentiates us is it's a practical roll up your sleeves and do the action steps that come at the end of each one of our units. And there's 10 units in our training. And that instills the core knowledge that you've just learned and perpetuates you building a business step by step systematically as you go through the training. So it's a dual purpose thing. It's knowledge and practically building a new business in this vertical.
Well, it's also it's the third big benefit, if I'm not mistaken, is that this counts towards the ongoing education credits that realtors need in certain places. Is that
And
correct?
uh, not quite, Dave.
Not quite.
Unfortunately, we're
Okay.
working on that.
Ah, okay.
We're working on that. But the Ontario Real Estate Association recognizes the designation, and we're moving it across the country.
Hmm.
And we are speaking at NAR or with the National Realtors Association in the States to get this as an accredited and, one of the electives, at least in a real estate agent's pathway um, to their the curriculum that they have to take to keep their license.
Yeah. So what have been early on, like what have been some of the transformations you've seen with some of your students by taking this training?
Yeah, we've had a number of students be doing deals with investors even before they finish the training, which is
Nice.
very encouraging.
Yeah.
And it is helping them refocus their entire business model to not just working with with investors, which they do, but like I said, going back to their existing book of business and being able to help people leverage the debt equity in their properties to start building wealth. And it helps newbie realtors because newbie realtors are always fighting with the I'm not worthy because I'm new. How can I separate myself or have anything of value to say to get the gig over somebody with more
With
experience,
20, 30, 40 years track
even
record.
5 years
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
matter. So now when they're talking about building wealth and having those conversations, well, that is a game changer right out of the gate.
I would imagine. So we see the big advantage to real estate investors to have a realtor like this that has this designation and has this training. Um, and we're seeing a bit of a competitive advantage for the realtor themselves by
Mhm.
having this training. But big picture, like what's the big benefit to a realtor to go through this training to get this designation to really kind of dig in and take this seriously?
Yeah, sure. Well, the whole idea when I created this training as kind of a self-serving purpose of creating the perfect realtor for me,
Yeah.
I realized that not only would the realtor gain the knowledge but they would also be able to create lifetime clientele, because at the bottom line for a realtor is next deal, next deal, next deal, more deals, right? And
Which
so
usually means more and more mom and pop home buyers and
exactly.
sellers. Yeah.
But instead of being a transitional or transactional realtor, they become a consultant for that person for life. And I ask people, so generally, if people have a financial planner, how often do you generally change your financial planner in your lifetime? Most people don't, right? It's just, that's my financial guy, and that's it. And so by the same token, when we're training people to become, in a sense, real estate wealth consultants, and so they're taking people on a lifetime journey to retire earlier or whatever their financial goal may be, and thereby doing multiple deals with every single client. And then when you're helping people build wealth, excuse me, well, they become basically your brand ambassador and are waving that flag because, hey, my realtor's not just selling me a property and then I never hear from them again except for some lame market update every now and then.
Yeah.
They're actually chiming in and going, how's your real estate portfolio? Like, where are we now? Let's do a reassessment and continue to work
Yeah.
towards
Providing more value. Yeah.
your goal, right?
Yeah.
And so it really comes down to the public wins, the realtor wins, everybody wins, because the realtors who generally, like I said, are transactional realtors, well, now they're just providing more and more value to the average ma and pa and to the investor.
Yeah, because I don't remember exactly what the stats are, but I think the average ma and pa buys and sells a house on average every 7 years, if I'm not mistaken. And then, so that's fine. That's great if you're, a long-term realtor. But if you can start working with an investor that instead of every 7 years is buying a property, maybe it's 3 or 4 times a year that investor is buying a new property, at least a couple of times a year, then the lifetime value of that one client to your realtor business is literally 14 times more at least than your average ma and pa. So that's huge. That's massive.
Huge. That's
Yeah,
huge.
no, that makes a lot of sense. So I was going to ask you, Gord, like what's been as you've been training realtors around this, what's kind of been the biggest, fastest value add they can bring to the equation for their investor clients by going through this training? Like, I know there's a ton of stuff in there, but like, what would
Right.
be like one of the number one things that they just now can bring to the table?
I think because realtors are always after the next shiny object and are always running from this presentation to that presentation to an open house, whatever it is. And I thought to myself, well, as an investor, if I just gave you my criteria and then you as the realtor did the research and then presented me the property that corresponded to that, well, I'm going to buy it. And now I know that you get me, so I'm not going to phone any other realtor. I'm staying with you. So that creates my lifetime relationship with that particular realtor. The other thing is agents who present properties to investors, well, do they really know how that investor's even doing their analysis? You don't know. Everybody's different in their level of understanding how to value a property, how to understand the trajectory of that property in terms of a conservative appreciation, mortgage pay down, cash flow. And if you're not incorporating these things and the other profit centers that surround holding real estate over time, that person could just go, the cash flow is only, X amount, and then write it off. Whereas if you were to do a deeper dive, you would realize that that property is significantly valuable and has a nice ROI if you just held that property over time. So making that assumption that everybody understands the same analysis approach that you do as a graduate is, I think, one of the faults that a lot of agents may take just when they send out an email drip.
Yeah,
right?
that makes a lot of sense. Awesome, Gord. So if people want to find out more about you and connect with you and find out more about the REI Institute, what's the best place for them to go?
Right. So we are www.rei.institute. So no .com, just rei.institute. That's our webpage. And I am always available to discuss any questions that people may have. And we also have a team as well. So
Fantastic. Awesome. Well, I think you're bringing a very valuable service to the table. Keep up the good work, my friend.
thank you.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you on the next episode.
Hey there, I really hope you enjoyed that episode. And as always, if you want to listen to more daily interview content, make sure you subscribe. And if you're an active real estate investor and you're doing deals and you'd like to get featured on this show, then just head over to daveinterviewyou.com. Now at moneypartnerformula.com, we help real estate investors to create a process for predictably getting capital so they can do more deals without relying on hard money lenders or the banks. We do this by building them a private capital marketing system. Now, if you want help turning yourself into a big money capital attraction machine, then book a call with our team to see how we can help. Just visit moneypartnerformula.com to find out more. All right, take care, and we'll see you on the next interview.